Welcome to the NAFA webinar series, providing you with timely information and training on topics of interest. This is Brendan Burnett, Director, Professional Development and Education Programs. Today, we are presenting how to hold your focus all year long with one-page business plans. Many Lilly graduates are already familiar with how the one-page business plan can turn the chore of business planning into a simple, highly effective process. And in the spirit of sharpening the saw, Tony Nell will present a special advanced one-page business plan webinar today. And this, of course, is exclusively for Lilly graduates. And this webinar will provide you with the opportunity at the start of our new year to pause, take stock, and learn new techniques that will make your planning and your one-page business plan better. And with me today is Tony Nell. Tony is a business planning and execution expert with 25 years of experience in business planning, leadership development, executive coaching, and corporate training. And she worked directly with Michael Gerber, who is the author of E-Myth Revisited. She has also been an E-Myth Academy consultant and director of training and certification at the One Page Business Plan Company since 2003. During the webinar, you may type your questions in the question box on the right side of your screen. All questions will be answered during the question and answer session at the end of the webinar. This webinar is being recorded, and a web link to the webinar recording will be emailed to you. Tony, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, Brendan. I'm really glad to be here. Hello, everybody. Well, welcome to how to find and hold your focus all year long. One of the things that I've learned over time is that is the hardest thing. Everybody writes a plan, everybody writes a business plan, gets going, is charging at it, and usually by about April 15th, things have gone awry. So we're here to learn how to hang on to that focus all year long. And right now I'm goofing around with my chat window, trying to get it out of my way, so forgive me. All right. One of the things that I have noticed, I've helped people write about 4,000 one-page plans and then execute them, right? And one of the things that I've noticed is that, like I said, about tax day, we kind of lose the thread. We've kind of let go of what it is that we intended to do, whatever it was that we wrote in October, November, December, January, or what have you, right? And so this is a way, these are the things that I've learned, just some helpful hints about how to stay on track all year long. Let's see here. There we go. So we have a question for you, and we're going to start right here. And giving yourself a letter grade, okay, looking back on the plan you wrote last year for 2017, right? And I bet you've seen it recently if you've been cooking up a plan for this year, right? So what letter grade, A, B, C, D, F, would you give yourself for holding on to your focus all year long? How well did you do? Okay. Poll in progress. Okay. Here we go. I can unfold the chat. All right. Okay.
And it looks like 38% of our respondents responded with a C. 34% gave themselves a D. And then 21% with a B. 3% with an A. 9% with an F. So that is, and we'll go ahead and share the results right now so you can see them visually up on your screens also.
Thank you. Well, okay, you brave people who gave yourself an F, my hat's off to you. Likewise, the D's, the C's, and everybody else, okay? Being honest is the first thing we can do to get going. The reason I learned this is because it's hard for me too, right? Let's see here, I don't see anything in chat, so I'm gonna just let that be. We'll just keep moving. All right, so you've given yourself a grade. About a third of us get a C, about a third of us get a D. That's why you're here. It's Good. Let's keep going. One of the biggest problems about not sticking to plan, okay, so rolling it out, big fanfare, this is what we're going to do, this is where we're going to go, and not sticking to that we are then modeling the wrong behavior to our people. And everybody knows your firm, your agency, your business is a reflection. It's a reflection of our behavior, right? My business is a reflection of my behavior for good or ill. All the good stuff, all the bad stuff too. Well, if you want your people to stay on track and help you create the results you want, it has to start with us. We all know that. So I'm curious what the 3% who gave themselves an A would say about how they hold their focus all year long. What have these people learned? All right. I'd be curious to hear if you agree or disagree with anything I have to say. I would love to know that. So here's how we do it. It's really not that simple, not that hard. It's very simple. You have to commit. You got to want it. That feeling of wanting to lose 20 pounds, that feeling of wanting something, anything, right? You got to let yourself want it, desire it, go for it, talk about it, do stuff toward it every day. It's the thing that you're most focused on. That is the bedrock. That is the foundation, right? You have to walk, eat, talk, and live your plan, right? Then you have to put your money where your mouth is. You got to commit resources to it. We are going to step up our social media marketing this year, and we're investing this many dollars in it, for instance, right? And then finally, we need to measure our results on a regular basis, and I don't just mean production. Okay, has to be more than financial. How did we do? We need to measure our progress against our metrics, our KPIs, right? Which must be more than financial in order to create balance and a good picture of your business. And we also need to track our progress against the big hearty projects and programs for the year, the things you're working on, many people are working on together. You got to track the progress of that also. And we need to do it monthly. That is a key. Monthly is the minimum, right? And I know you probably have weekly meetings and so forth. Most of us do. But in fact, they can devolve into a pipeline meeting or admin issues, who knows, right? And so you need to have a special meeting just to review your results every month. And another helpful hint that I have learned is that if you schedule those months at the beginning of the year for the entire year, they will happen, right? If you do it ad hoc and add one and one and one each time you have one, you'll have many people who can't show up. If you schedule them all at the beginning of the year, everybody's going to be there. It would be very difficult to overwrite one, right? And so if it's on the third Wednesday of every month from 9 to 11 in the conference room, we know what's going to happen that day, right? And you're creating a system of execution, a way to make it to your plan, to your goal, right? You can't lose sight of those goals. And it's so easy to do that if you only do the big roundup, view of your business quarterly. It's just not enough to steer away from the rocks quick enough, keep everybody active and juicy and ready to go, right? So the number one thing is you got to commit to holding your focus. When you get off track, you get back on. You get off track, you get back on, because everybody's going to get off track, right? And it really helps to have someone hold you accountable, right? Who is that? And how often will you meet? That's my next big question, right, Brendan? How often will you meet with your accountability partner? The poll is open. Yeah, let's see how this one goes. Be very curious. I'm actually not seeing the poll results, but I know that you'll tell me. So I'm excited about that.
I sure will, and we have close to 100% of the participants have voted at this point, so we'll give a few more seconds to do that.
Thank you.
So far, monthly is strongly in the lead.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine most of you have some kind of accountability partner, a coach, a consultant of some kind. Maybe it's somebody from the home office or someone that you've retained personally. Use them, okay? Allow this to be a part of what you're held to account for.
And we'll share the results now. Yeah. And there's the results. 60% monthly, 27% weekly, 9% biweekly, and then quarterly with 4%.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, it sounds like you guys are well on your way. That's excellent. That's fantastic. I'm curious why we have so many people with C's and D's though on their focus holding. I'm curious about that. Maybe you're not being held account for the right things. I'm not really sure.
And Tony, we had a suggestion. We should have an option for daily also. So some ambitious person out there wants to meet daily. That's awesome.
Okay. There's a go-getter there. All right. Well, the best place to start, and you guys all know this, is you got to get your focus in writing. Okay? What are you building? What's it going to look like? What are you going to measure? How are you going to achieve it? What kind of projects are you going to put into play this year? You got to get that into writing. And I'm pretty sure everybody on the call has at least been exposed to one-page business plan, even if you haven't written one, right? I don't care what you use. It's the back of an envelope. It's anything. I honestly don't care. But you really do need to focus on not only your metrics, but also your project work. I think that's really a key and part of the heart of what I'm saying today. This is a place to put your plan. It is deceptively simple. It's incredibly effective. It's strategic and tactical. The vision, mission, and strategies are multi-year. The measurable objectives and the action plans, those are this year only, now, right? And those are the things you're going to be reviewing on a monthly basis, all right? I'm curious. It's too late to take another poll, huh, Brendan? I'm curious how many people have written a one-page plan for this year.
Well, it is, but we can go ahead and ask people to comment in the question box and let us know.
Chat?
Yeah, in the chat or the question box to go ahead and make their comments right now on that question. If you could just restate the question for our audience, Tony.
Yes. How many of you have written or rewritten a one-page business plan for 2018? That's my question. I'm not really seeing anything in my chat box, but I'm sure that's...
Yeah,
okay.
We have a number of responses. David has, James has,
Cool.
Celine has, Bob has, Donna, Tammy, and David, and Julie. And then we have Lisa also has, and Rhonda, Charlie. So it looks like about half of the group has written a one-page plan for this year. Yeah.
Wow. I love it. I love it. So you are halfway there. You all are halfway there. Bravo. And for those of you who haven't, why not take yours out and take a look-see at it? We have some special gifts for you that I'll tell you about at the end of the webinar here. But I highly recommend it. It is an easy way. It is a complete way even. And I think in the future, this is the way everybody will plan. I really do. Now, one of the things that I had to learn when I first encountered one-page plan was the fact that it took at least 3 iterations, 3 edits to go from the superficial to the meaningful. All right. For instance, once upon a time, when I worked at Prudential, when I worked at Hewlett Packard, I had to create a budget and a plan and submit it, and I would do that, and I would mop my brow, and I would shove that thing in the cupboard and not look at it till the Q1 meeting, right? And what I had in that cupboard was a first draft. And what I had in that cupboard was an event, not a process of improvement that would drive my department. Not at all. It was a chore, and it was useless. And that's what most people's objection to business planning is, right? It doesn't do anything for me for all that effort, right? It's for someone else. Well, one-page plans are for us and to help other people get excited about doing what we want to do, right? And so in order for your plan to be tight, crisp, actionable, you must revisit it 3 times. It must be questioned, right? You need to see linkage between each objective and some kind of strategy support it, and probably an action plan to carry it out this year, all right? To move the dial on the trend line on that particular measurable objective. You need an action plan to drive it, right? Something to move it, right? Once your plan has reached that state where you can ask yourself and answer yes, does this reflect my best thinking at this moment? My best thinking at this moment, does it? And if you can answer yes, you're good to go. At which point I recommend rolling it out as a, I'm making the air quotes, draft to your team. This is incredibly tight and crisp and clear to read, right? But everybody has to buy in, right? It's important that they buy in. And so they need to ask clarifying questions, right? But it should give everyone direction about where to go and how to win, right? And then finally, who owns what? That is incredibly important, right? The next piece, and this is the thing that I had not learned until really about 10 years ago, is how to manage people who have their own plans. That is a skill, right? You will be more successful if your managers, the people who earn a salary, right, or commission only, whatever, have their own plan, right? You got to set more than production goals too. I say that over and over and over and over, right? And you got to be really clear about what those business building projects and programs are, because that's the stuff that always falls off the radar. The action plans. That's the stuff that always gets overwritten by the telephone or the internet and somebody busting into your door in a lather, right? So make sure everyone uses the same format, no matter what you're doing. And I'll be honest with you, I look for new business planning software once a month. I spend one afternoon a month cruising the internet, seeing what's new, right? And I've not found anything that's as comprehensive as one page or as easy to use. I've found a lot of project management tools that call themselves business planning, and there's some that are really elegant and connect huge work groups together, but I've not found anything like one page. And you have it in your hands right now. The next piece is what I've been harping on this whole time, which is you got to measure your progress and results monthly, right? Also be very judicious about what it is you are measuring and revisiting monthly. One of the things I've said for a long time is if you measure everything, you're measuring nothing, okay? What are the pulse points? When you go into the ER, they don't do every test under the sun on you. They make sure you're breathing, your heart's going, for starters. right? So that's what I'm talking about. So really the heart and soul, the heartbeat of your business. What are those 5 to 7 to 9 things maximum? What are they, right? And then at this monthly business plan review meeting, right, some of the metrics on your plan are owned by others, right? Or if you're reviewing their plans, they're sharing their results. It's really important that everybody understands why I got the number I got in this category this month. I know why I got that much. And it's an act of maturity and a leadership development activity to ask that question over and over. It up-levels people's thinking so that they're not externalizing and saying it's the market and it's this and it's that guy. No, it's me. Okay, this is what I did to cause this result. And you're going to get more and more and more of that over time if people have their own plans and they have to answer that question every month. They'll get good at it, right? And then also, what did you accomplish against these big projects over the last 30 days? And what are you committing to for the next 30 days, right? Second, it's super important. Everybody knows who owns what, right? If it's co-owned, let's put their initials on that objective or action plan, usually action plan, okay? So put the owner's name right next to whatever the project is, right? Now, financial services is a different kind of industry because pay and bonuses are directly linked to what you do. But for folks who aren't in production, who don't earn commission, we should link their pay and bonuses to their achievement, right? How much, how many, how long, how often, how far did you go with this project, right? I'm pretty sure most folks would agree with that. All right, so here they are. You got to commit. You got to get it in writing. Get super clear about who owns what. I have seen that cause more problems than you can imagine. Cascade it. Cascade your plan down and throughout your organization. If your company is big enough, one plan's not going to cover it, is it? Right? Your sales manager should have a plan. Your administrator should have a plan. Okay? Your finance manager should have a plan. They should. Operations, plan. Okay? So start thinking about who you might share this tool with and what that would do for your business. Start thinking about cascading down and throughout your organization, because that's the most powerful thing that one-page plans can do, is that can help us cascade our objectives all the way down and throughout the organization. Everybody's already on this, measuring against your progress and your results monthly. And then finally, linking pay and bonus to that achievement. All right. So most of you have, it sounds like a lot of you have already written your own plan, about 50%, I think Brendan said. But here are some of my favorite pre-planning tools. And maybe you've seen a couple of these before, but I hope you play along anyway, okay? Anybody who has ever met a 2-year-old knows what the most powerful word in the English language is. It's no, right? And having boundaries is a very crucial piece of being successful, right? For instance, I learned a long, long time ago that if I didn't have at least 1 hour a day where the door was shut and locked and it said, unless there's fire or blood involved, don't come in, okay? Until I learned that, people were coming in and out of my door all the time because I wanted to support them. I wanted to help them. I wanted to help them win, you know. But it made it almost impossible for me to do the same. And so I had to say no to anybody coming into my office for 1 hour a day from 2 to 3. That was what happened, right? And so I'm curious, what are your no's? What are your no's? What do you need to stop doing? What is eating your lunch? Maybe there's something you know you need to delegate to someone else, but it's your comfort zone, and so you keep doing it because it's easy for you and you kind of like it. Or maybe it's something that you're avoiding and not doing well, and you do need to hand off to someone else, whether paid or unpaid, right? Find another way to get some of those things done. Maybe it's a behavior, like checking your phone, right? When you shouldn't, or taking it into meetings, or maybe it's a behavior like reacting to email all day long instead of setting email periods during the day, like 2 or 3 of those. I'm really curious what some people's no's are. What are you going to say no to, you guys? I'm really curious about that.
And if you have a no that you'd like to share, go ahead and type that in the question box at this time. Checking email box constantly. Yep, I know. I know all
there
that.
There it is. I've done it. I still do it, and I have to catch myself, right? What else we got? Oh, and 100%. Okay, very good. All right. What are some of the other no's you have?
Checking the phone.
There you go.
Distracted by reading more news than I need to.
Amen.
Phone and email.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the email's on the phone. Yeah, I know. Anything else?
Let's go to lunch.
Let's go to lunch.
Underwriting reviews. Checking only. Review weekly with admin. Saying no to junk food. Maybe similar to let's go to lunch. Checking emails and taking too many breaks, and no to other appointments. Quit completing other producers' incomplete applications. Very good.
Yes. A lot of that.
And let's see. Don't answer every question asked of me. Why am I being asked? Sounds like that falls into the learn to say no category, of course. And a question, what do you suggest for when to check the emails, when to do the 3 time periods a day? And then, so that's a follow-up question then, how often should you be checking your email, and what would, in your opinion, Tony? And we'll get to your answer in a second because we have one more comment. No to calls and meetings that interfere with my daily exercise time. This helps me stay focused. So take care of yourself through exercise before you take care of other people. Excellent. So what is the answer on how often to check the emails there, since we know we're not supposed to do it every time one comes in?
Oh, it's so easy to do, too. Well, the first thing you got to do is turn off your email notification. Numero uno. Turn off the notification, whether it's, it shows a little, I use Outlook, and so it shows a little envelope if there's an unopened email on the icon on the bottom of my desktop, right? That's plenty. But I turned off the bell and the dinger, and it changes your mouse and whatever all the different options are, right? So turn that thing off, okay? And what I do is, I'll be honest with you, I told someone this yesterday, a colleague, I came clean. Here's what I really, really do. When I wake up in the morning, I pick up my phone, and I check my email to see if there's anything crucial. Maybe an early meeting got changed or something else is coming down the pike for the day. I just lightly glance to see if there's anything I need to attend to now. Because I'm on the West Coast, a lot of my clients are 3 hours ahead of me, right? And so there's that. Then I get up, do my morning routine, head to the office, and immediately do email, okay, for 30 minutes. Okay, as soon as I get in, before any appointments or anything like that, give myself some buffer time, right? And then I am very sad to report it, but often during lunch, I will also check email. But between 11:30 and 1:30, somewhere in there, midday, I'll check my mail. And that'll be another 20 minutes, say, okay? So I'm spending about an hour a day on email, I figure. And then at the end of the day, before I go, not right before I go, because by then I'm ready to move into my evening, but about an hour before I go, right? Then I do another 20 minutes, wind things up, make my to-do list for tomorrow, and head home. All right. So it's immediate check in the morning, first thing when I get in, sometime midday, and then another 20 minutes at the end of the day. Okay. It's not that hard. It is 1 hour. And I've found that I get more done and I get back to more people. Not only that, I give deeper answers to the folks that I'm answering instead of the half sentence, no punctuation sent, okay? Just because I'm trying to get through 67 emails, right? So I think that it actually gives a better result. Does anybody else have a follow-up question or comment on that one?
Not so far, no.
Okay, good. All right, well, let's keep going. All righty. Now, this is one of my very, very, very favorite tools. I'm going to teach it to you now. Has anybody ever seen this before? Have you done this with me before, or someone else? Maybe Jim Horan? Anybody? I hope it's new. Okay. This is the one-page strategy wheel. And instead of giving you a worksheet, I'm going to ask you to draw the biggest possible circle you can on a piece of paper. Get a nice freshie. And draw the biggest circle you can, because you're going to need some room to write. And then bisect it into 4 pieces of pie. Okay. And we're going to start in the bottom right quadrant. In the middle, though, I want you to write 2017, right in the middle of the intersection there, right? So right in the very middle, 2017, all right? The seasons have a natural progression. We know what season we're in the middle of right now, that's for sure, right? There are natural progressions and patterns to business as well. And this is what we're talking about. There's beginnings, there's growth, there's things that need to be let go of, moved away from. We go inward, we reflect, and we come up with new ideas, and it starts all over again, right? And so I want to ask you here in this bottom right-hand quadrant regarding 2017, right? What was working? What went well? What was good? What was contributing to your growth last year? What worked? What was awesome? What did you kick butt on? What was fantastic? What was an improvement, even if it was little? I'll give you a minute to write.
And Rhonda says customer service. Very good.
Love that.
Grace says tracking my work and creating new ideas that we haven't done before.
Ho ho. I love that.
And Margie says my client presentation.
Gorgeous. Did anybody put their business plan or their planning on there?
No, but Omero says reading books.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Okay.
Great way to sharpen the saw.
Definitely. All right. Okay. So you can add to this list after this hour, but I want to move on. Traveling the way the sun does, comes up in the east, heads south, and then sets in the west. Let's go down here to the bottom left quadrant, switch to the other channel. What isn't working in your business? What's restricting your growth? What's holding you back? What's bent or broken? What needs to be better?
Lack of time management is one response that we just received. No focus.
Mm.
Needing to have a great system and stick to it. Allowing others to dictate my time. Let's see. People in the same capacity thinking only their way is the right way. So, you know, you need more people to follow, not just leaders, but followers too. Trying to be all things to all people I interact with. Not enough activity with the right clients.
Oh, yeah.
And I will personally say, to get back to Covey, very important within Lilly, not enough time spent in the quadrant of the important but not urgent. So needing to get into that quadrant more personally.
Yeah. I get you. First, a word about time management. I am convinced that time management is about priority management. I am convinced that if I load in the big rocks, the most important things first, into my schedule, I literally put them on my calendar, right? You guys know about time blocking. Those things get done, right? And I often ask myself this question: is this getting me closer to my goal? Is this helping me or hurting me to do this right now? To whatever, cook up this PowerPoint right this minute. Yeah, it's fun for me, but is this the right thing to be doing? Probably not, right? So you got to police yourself a little better, is what I've learned. Lack of focus for me is about lack of structure, right? So creating a structured day and sticking to it gives me peace. It really does. So you might want to try that. And then regarding sticking to a system, having a system and sticking to it, you won't stick to it. You will fall off the horse, and that's okay. Get back on. And that's the key. It's not being perfect and never blowing it or veering away from what you know is best, but getting back on. Like, it's okay, I'm back at it today. Okay, I ate brownies and cookies all day yesterday. Today I'm having a kale shake for breakfast. You know, just get back on the horse, right? You can do that. And don't beat yourself up, because that prevents it, right? That prevents that from happening. So we've got what's not working. I bet you could go on and on about that. That's okay. Here's my favorite part, upper left. What did you learn last year? This is the part we just don't do in Western culture. I don't know what that is, but it's an important piece of reflection. It's an important piece of leadership. What did you learn? What did you learn about yourself? About your strengths and weaknesses? What did you learn about your systems, your people, your products? What did you learn? What was easy? What was hard? What did you learn last
year? And I learned that I can be everything to everyone. I can't be everything to everyone. Learn to not take things personally. I love this one. People don't think about me near as much as I believe they do. Stellar.
Deep truth. Deep truth.
I learned the importance about giving first before asking for something. Very good.
Man, that will take you far.
And find a niche you are passionate about and stick with it. Network with others and inform them regarding your niche. Simplify. Keeping my focus on the plan of the day. Very good. And comment to something related to earlier. Tony mentioned that in the evening she did the to-do list for tomorrow. Planning the next day is very powerful, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to spend 80% of my time asking questions and really listening to answers and 20% presenting solutions. So, 2 ears and 1 mouth in that proportion, yeah. Saying no is possible and okay. Love it.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yes, yes. To be successful, to move forward, to be free, to be peaceful, you must say no. To simplify, we always have to say no. Right? Those are phenomenal answers. I would like you to dig down for just one more. Maybe it's something personal. But just dig a little harder.
And I learned that focusing on scheduling time for phone calling is the key to making more sales and scheduling my calling times at the beginning of the week. Amen. Interesting. So call people at the beginning of the week. Keeping office organized. Would love suggestions about how to organize in baskets and tracking.
In baskets. Oh boy. Yeah. Wow. I'm not sure I have any great advice about that. Besides, if you can touch it only one time, that is the key. That is the key. If you got it in your hand and you want to just put it aside because, like, oh, not this thing, just buckle down and do it. If you can do that, you'll probably come out a lot better next year. Try and touch it just only once or as few times as possible, right? That's all I've got. If anybody else has better advice, please pipe up. Okay. Anything else you learned last year?
Reading. Oh, we have some help. We have a suggestion. Read "Getting Things Done" by Dave Allen.
That is a good one.
He has systematized the in-basket, etc. And I don't remember if it's 1 Minute Manager. I don't think it is, but there was a book. It was Medical Doctor, and he would, everything he tried to do, any decision he was asked to make, he tried to make it within a minute or two, so it didn't sit on his desk. So Getting Things Done by Dave Allen. Okay, excellent.
Thank you, Dave Allen, and whoever put that suggestion out. Thanks. All right. And so what I know about this is that you taking your time with it, we're doing it very quickly, is the best, right? But we are moving on to fresh ideas. And what I've learned is that if you spend a long enough time in lessons learned, okay, if you spend a long enough time there, fresh new ideas write themselves. And it's usually only 1 or 2 things, but they're powerful, right? Maybe you have 7. Yay, that's fine, all right? But what are your fresh new ideas? You looked at what was working, what was good, what was contributing, what was holding you back, not working, bent or broken, what you learned. Now, what's your fresh new idea? What are those? In truth, I usually come up with 3 or 4 things. That's the truth. And I often will do this process at the end of my week. What worked, what didn't, what did I learn, what are my new ideas? I will often do this on a Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Okay. But at this point, we're looking at a whole year. What are your fresh new ideas, you guys? Anybody got a humdinger?
Well, I don't know if this is a fresh new idea or a response to the previous question, but it certainly works under both. Be in the moment in every single place. If it's work, focus on work. If it's family, it's family.
I'm going to stand up and give you a standing ovation. That is a spectacular idea.
Educate oneself, and definitely in response to the latest question, write them down when I think of them and dive deeper later so I don't forget them. The old when you think it, it get. Volunteer, stick to priorities, read a book monthly, ramp up education. Thank you, Roberto, for that. Stay current. Thanks, Margie. And setting up a marketing plan for what we do best in the industry that our market know nothing about, from Ken. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like you guys are going to have a good year. It's exciting. All right. Well, let's keep going, but I want to tell you that this little process, we're going to give you the handout for it, but this little process you can do with anybody. And you might want to do this with your team. You might want to do this with your agents. You might want to do this with your admin. You might want to do this with your operations back office staff. You might want to do this with them. You might want to do this with everybody who's in a selling position, right? It's pretty easy. Just make sure that you take enough time. And the other thing I'm going to tell you about this is the bottom right, the what's working, and the upper left, lessons learned. Those are the more feminine human aspects, right? The what's not working, where's the problem, and fresh ideas, let's go fix it. Those are the more masculine, dynamic human characteristics, right? So it's a very balanced process. Just make sure you spend enough time in each area, right? So you've learned it, you've done it, you can do it with everybody on your team now. But it's a really great coaching tool, and it's our gift to you. So enjoy. All right. Now, the one-page power plan. Maybe you don't want everybody in your whole business to be writing a one-page business plan. That's okay. Maybe you do want certainly your new recruits, people less than 3 years in production. Maybe you want to ask them to do this. Maybe you already have, right? So what's your measurable objective? You want to increase your production, sales, paid premium, whatever the heck you want to call it, from whatever it was last year, and maybe they're starting at absolute zero, to what they want it to be this year, this quarter, this month, this week, right? You can do this for any period of time, right? And by when? You got to say by when, right? And then here we go. Here it is filled in for Berkeley Ice Cream Company, right? And then we're going to add in the 4 strongest activities we can think of to move the dial on that number, right? So this is long range. And here are the things, right? We're going to test market flavors and sell franchises and so on, right? We're going to do all these. These are the 4 smartest things we came up with as a team to do toward this, right? And then we're going to break it down into some steps, okay? I'm going to do this and this and this, this and this and this. These are big headings. And then, of course, there's more under each of those, right? There's more to be said about them. But again, you can do this very easily with anybody on your team and help them have the same power that's in your one-page plan, objectives, strategies, action plans, right? And show them that linkage between those 3 things, right? Does anybody have any questions for me? I would love to know what they are.
And we'll pause for a moment to see if we have any questions coming in, but I'm going to read out a previous comment from Lisa that she typically gets great ideas from her NAFA membership meetings. Outstanding.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Now, Tony, did we want to go ahead and launch another poll while we're waiting and see if your managers have their own plans? Would that be helpful?
Oh, yeah, I'd be curious about that. I've been kind of harping on that. So, yeah, let's
go ahead and find out. Do your managers have their own business plans?
Yeah.
And I would tell you, what the preliminary results are, but I don't want to skew any of the answers. So.
Don't skew. All right. I guess it's no. I'm going to just guess. But I could be wrong. I definitely don't need to be right about that.
And we'll go ahead and close the poll at this time. And we're going to share the results. And a majority, yes, 55%, their managers within their agencies have their own plans. Outstanding.
Very good. Very, very good. So they have a vision and their own mission and their own measurable objectives and their own strategies and their own action plans. That's great. That's gorgeous. I love it.
So we do have some questions that have come in as we move now into our Q&A session. One comment regarding the previous poll question, they have the plans. The question is, how well do they follow them or share them? Interesting. And we have a comment. Thank you for refreshing my memory on things to improve. Glad this was helpful. Thank you. And then we have a question. What are your most effective marketing tools in today's industry for financial advisors? And that sounds like a question for the group, if anyone wants to share ideas on their marketing tools. And then we have a question. John would like to know, have you read the book Scrum, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time by Jeff Sutherland? If so, how does your understanding of the book align with the one-page business plan? So first, key question, have you read this yet, Tony, or is that on your list to read?
I have not read it, and you are the second person who's asked me this week, so I guess I better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. So for the group, I'll repeat the Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time by Jeff Sutherland. That's the title of the book that was just asked about. And then we have a question, is there any way I can get this PowerPoint or video that was recorded to watch again? And the answer is yes, we are recording this, and this will be emailed to all of the registrants, whether you attended or not. You'll all receive a web link that will allow you to access the webinar recording. And let's see. Can you show the one-page? Can you show again the one Power Page plan slide again, please, Tony?
Oh, sure. Okay, close your eyes, guys. Otherwise, you're going to get seasick. Okay.
There it is, the one-page Power Plan.
Right. So, measurable objective. Okay. Do you want to see the form? There you go. And you can get this as a download from our website. That was the slide that I was just showing. That we have some special gifts for you and some discounts on our cloud plan building software. And so here you go. Did you take a screenshot of it yet? Because you can have your very own right here. Okay, so we have some special gifts for you. For NAIFA members, you're going to go to onepagebusinessplan.com/NAIFA. Okay, and the power plan that you just asked to see again is circled here in red. You can download that, boom, right now, right this second. Also, you can click here down below, and we have one-page business plan for financial services at a reduced cost, 15% off the cover price, cheaper than Amazon, and then also our cloud products at our really serious price reduction, including a mentored plan development with a professional who might turn out to be me. So that is also an option. Okay, at an incredible price, actually. So take advantage of that. You know, I recommend getting some help. You know, talk to the expert once in a while. That's a good idea. So I am curious. What, if anything, will you do differently as a result of our time together today? That's what I always want to know.
Well, I think that David knows. He says, if I say yes to everything, I say no to everything, including family. So.
Oh, David, yay. That's some deep learning. Okay. What, if anything, will you do differently?
Leroy's going to stop allowing others to dictate my time.
Amen. I love it. I bet everybody's on the website.
Cindy's going to read Essentialism again.
Oh, great. Oh, maybe I should. And Scrum.
And Lisa has never had her team do this, but will be interested in trying it out. And Ellie is going to start every day with a short meeting with myself, reviewing how my actions are linked to my ideals. So motivating, exclamation mark, awesome.
Oh, love it.
And Bob is going to encourage his staff to use the one-page business OPBL annually and for major projects. And Margie's going to order 2 books.
Okay, Margie.
I'm going to schedule my email times and going to do the power plan template. Awesome.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. All right, you guys. I'm glad to know that there was an impact made today that was positive for you. And so thank you so much for your time.
Great. And lastly, Cindy says she's going to organize her in-bin every morning. Fabulous. All right.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Well, I think this is about all the time that we have. And I want to thank very much our presenter today, Tony Nell, with the one-page business plan. Of course, this has been an important resource within the Lilly curriculum for many years now. And we appreciate very much, Tony, you taking some time today to share your expertise with us and really keep in the spirit of sharpening the saw, because of course Lilly is not the end, it's just the beginning. And so thank you very much for that. And I want to thank also our attendees for taking time. I think you've been the most engaged group for an AFA webinar that I've ever seen. So thank you so much for all your great ideas and questions and engagement. And as I mentioned, this webinar is being recorded, and you'll be receiving an email automatically with a link to the webinar recording. And this concludes the NAFA webinar.